Bucket List Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Lynn and welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome. Today is day 3 of Every Bit Counts Challenge. We just got home about 2 hours ago from our quick little trip to New York. And after I filmed my haul for you all and straightened up a bit, I went right out to the garden and I checked on the chickens and I went right out to the garden. And I had a few things to harvest, and there's more tomorrow for day 4. So this video will have day 3 and day 4 for you tomorrow. So I'm excited to show you what I harvested. So this is my second year of doing Every Bit Counts Challenge. And last year, I think for like the first 2 weeks, I kept saying, oh, I don't have much to show you. I was so down because my garden wasn't producing, and I don't know, I guess I'm more Canadian than I realized, because I apologize for everything. Anyway, I just realized at the end of the month when I saw how much I had preserved every day, I think I missed 2 days because we had to take my mom back to the airport and we stayed overnight one night in New York last summer. I missed 2 days last year, and I could not believe the amount that I was able to put up every single day that I did it in August last year. So it really is, every bit does really truly count. Every little bit does. It really, really does. And those little bits add up to a lot when you're doing it every day. So I still don't have a huge amount coming in my garden, but boy, by the end of the month last year, I was really happy. The first 2 weeks were a little bit slower because the last 2 weeks I was full out preserving pretty big last 2 weeks of August. So I'm excited to show you. I'm really excited to show you one of the things that David and Aiden found for me. Before we left on our trip, I had gone down back to check the apple tree, and that's probably something I'll be harvesting tomorrow for you all, for Every Bit Counts, because he said some of the apples are definitely ready. And while he was down there, he said, you know that flower you had me pick on the side of the house to bring in for you, because I don't like going over there because I'm worried about snakes. And so far this summer, I haven't seen a single one. David has seen several, but I have lucked out, thank you, Jesus, because I am literally petrified of them. Anyway, he went over and he said, oh, you mean, I said, yeah, you mean echinacea? He said, did you know there's a ton of it down back? I said, no, I did not know there was a ton of it down back. He said, yeah, there's all kinds. The former owners of this place must have planted it. And he planted a lot of things down back that I can't see because I don't go down there a lot, again, because of what I just mentioned. It's buggy. It's a little nerve-wracking to go down there alone because a lot of coyotes, and we've had strangers come through. One year, a stranger picked all my apples off my tree, like didn't leave us one. So I don't get down there a lot. And he said, yeah. So him and Aiden picked me all of this before we left on our trip. And I've been letting it dry on its own till I could come back, and I'm going to put it in the dehydrator. Well, he just went down back to check on the apples again, and he found all these. So I'm going to cut all the stems off and put them in, and we're going to get them dehydrating. So I'm literally just going to take scissors and I'm going to snip off the bottom, and we're going to get these going. I'm so excited. A lot of the echinacea I planted, it's alive, I'll say that much for it, but it definitely won't be blooming this year. I don't see how. Hopefully it will stay alive until next year, because I did plant a lot. I got the seed from M.I. Gardener. And speaking of M.I. Gardener, I just got a bunch of seeds from he had a big 50% off sale. Oh, I want to say it was at the end of June. It must have been a busy sale because it does not normally take me this long to get my orders from them, but I'm okay. It's okay. I was in no hurry. It's all for seeds for next year. But I want to say it might have been even the end of June that they had that sale. I can't remember, but they just came, and I'm really happy with everything I planted from him this year. And I'm trying to build up my herb seeds because I definitely want to enlarge the herb garden next year. Okay. Just gonna make sure they're all right. Okay, so these are gonna go in, and I'm gonna treat them kind of like an herb. So they're going to go on, it's going to go in my Excalibur, and that will be the herbs for the Excalibur are 100 degrees. So we're going to get them in and then work on the next thing I'm preserving. Another thing I had was another handful of chamomile. Some of these are a little bigger than I like them to be, but that's okay. They just might not be quite as sweet tasting, but I'm not using all these just for tea. I have a lot still from last year for tea, so this is probably going to be more in my skincare and my soaps. And I had one calendula blooming, but they're starting to add up too. So there's the next thing for Every Bit Counts challenge. I also had my first cucumber ready. I'm giving this to the chickens. It's kind of, you know, but at least I got one. We'll see how the rest go. I only planted these for eating this year. I don't plan on pickling any because we have tons of pickles from the last 2 years. So the chickens are going to get that along with the scraps from the next thing that I'm going to be putting up is my green and yellow beans. Just like my last bean harvest, I'm just putting these into the freezer until I get enough to can. I think I'm getting very close to being able to can a few cans of the green beans. Yellow is going to take a little while longer, but there's a lot that are going to be ready, I think, probably in the next couple of days. So hopefully it won't be much longer and I'll have some of them. So we're just going to put these right into the freezer. I have a bag of yellow already started. I'm going to go grab that. And then we have 2 more things that I harvested today. I had a bunch of thyme ready, so I did strip all of them off their leaves. And I'm going to let them dry like this on a paper plate. And I'll finish them up in the dehydrator. I'm probably going to have some more I can harvest too. I forgot I had another thyme plant to check. So I find I like finishing them in the dehydrator, just the last little bit they need. I find it retains their flavor a lot better than dehydrating them right from the get-go. So I just kind of try and get them off their stems as much as I can. Some of them are still on them. And then spread it out, and we'll put this on top of the dehydrator. The last thing I harvested was a bunch more apple mint. I have so much apple mint, and truthfully, I probably don't need to harvest anymore. I can't just leave it. So I'm going to see if the chickens like it, because the next few harvests I might give to them if they'll eat it. Because I seriously have several jars of it stuffed full. And I still have some from last year. So I think we're good. But is that like, am I the only one? Like, I just can't leave it knowing it's still growing out there. So I'm going to put this in my Nesco dehydrator. Trying to decide. I think I will take them off there. Sometimes I don't. But I kind of just need a mind-numbing, easy thing to kind of help get me back on track a little bit after traveling and being out of my favorite place to be, which is my house and my garden. Kids have already tried to get right back to their routines. Aiden's out on his run and Gracie's upstairs doing her workout. So it's one thing when you have neurodivergent children, and neurodivergent is just Aiden has Tourette's and Grace has autism, so those are neurodivergent conditions. I don't know what you want to call them, but they like routine, and being off routine can be very difficult. Traveling with them is also very difficult, especially when it comes to meals and trying to find things that we can all eat. So I am happy to be home and doing what I love. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going on these trays, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for day 4 of Every Bit Counts. Day 4, and my echinacea is all done. So I don't know why I put them in such a big jar. I'm going to put them in a smaller jar because clearly I don't have as many as I thought I was going to have. But I also wanted to tell you that it's not just the flowers I'm preserving. I'm also pulling these out, and be careful. I've already stabbed myself 3 times. You pull these out. Let's see if I can find a good one here. And if you can, these are so small. Is it gonna even focus on them? And those are the echinacea seeds. So I'm just gonna, I've labeled it, and I'm just gonna put them in there. And there's my echinacea seeds to hopefully grow some more plants next year. And then I will be able to fill that jar. So I'm obviously not going to save all of them. There's a bazillion heads left here. I'll show you in just a second. But those are completely dehydrated. And that took about 24 hours on 100 degrees in my Excalibur. Okay, so there, that's done. So these are all the seed pods. These are all the pods that are left. Like I said, you just pull them out and save them. I'm not going to save these because that is more, and I have quite a few in here that I've been saving already. So there's plenty. I am just going to go scatter these outside, and maybe they'll naturally spread some echinacea. So that is all done. So late last night, I harvested some more rose petals to add to the ones I've already been harvesting all in July. And I just, like I mentioned before, I just leave these to dry on like a paper towel or something, because the dehydrator, I find they lose their scent when they go in the dehydrator. So those have been sitting on top of my dehydrator, and they'll go back. And I picked more chamomile today. So that's going to go to the stuff I already have going. I'm getting a nice little amount, so we're getting there. So going in the dehydrator today, and I still have to get my apple mint out of my Nesco. That's ready too. I've got some mullein flowers that I harvested. That's going to go in the dehydrator, and some of the herbs that we picked the other day, the marshmallow, that's probably it. The marshmallow and this, I'm going to put in the dehydrator and get them finished dehydrating. I also got another batch of green beans, another handful, and a few more yellow beans, so I'm going to add them to the freezer. I'm getting ready to put, this is apple mint that I already preserved, and I switched out the echinacea with the apple mint jar. I did have it in this, but so that's a better size. One of my pieces of advice I'm going to give you all: mark everything immediately. I mean, this I'll know what it is, but I'm still gonna, I know I'm spelling it wrong, but it's only me, so I don't know what it says. I mean, this I obviously will know. I think it's echinacea, but I'm not the only one who lives in my house. And some things, you think you're gonna know what they are, and you don't. My dandelion, I thought that I dehydrated back in the early spring. I thought I marked it, I didn't. And thank goodness I talked to my friend Tanya about when I did it, because she reminded me that it was dandelion. After I smelled it, I thought, okay, I think this is dandelion. But yeah, so mark everything. Mark everything. And a lot of herbs smell, to me, some of them smell and look the same, especially when they're dried. So mark everything as soon as you are done preserving it, so you will know. Okay, just that's my tip of advice. So I'm just going to finish putting the apple mint from yesterday. So I end up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trays of apple mint. And there's more out there to be harvested, but I'm leaving it for now because I just have so much of it preserved. Next up, okay, I got these, a bag of these at Costco. They are, because nobody in our area has any bell peppers ready. I got 2 pounds for $6, and they're actually from Kingsville, Ontario, which I believe is not very far from us. So it's kind of local. Yeah, they were $6 for 2 pounds, and I'm not growing this variety, so that's good. I will show you. This is the closest I have right now to my bell peppers. I have tons, but we do not like green peppers. Do not like them at all. So I'm waiting for them to all change color. This one I picked, but I didn't mean to. I was weeding and it fell off, so I brought it in. So I've probably got a good 2 weeks before I'll be preserving my own. That being said, as many as I planted, I can never seem to plant enough for what we go through. I supplement with what I grow with local peppers too. So because my dehydrators are going, I was going to dehydrate these, but I don't think I'm gonna. I'm going to freeze these ones. I will dehydrate some of mine when I pick them. So while we were at Costco, I also found these, the Costco brand. This is a great deal. So you get, just if anyone's interested, you get 50 pre-cut 1-liter bags, which is what I'm going to be using. You get 4 11 by 16 feet rolls and 3 8 by 20 feet rolls. And because I have the new machine, all of these will fit. And I got them for, I want to say it was $26, which when we were in the States, I couldn't even get bags that cheap. They were about the same price as us. So, and they work on all machines. So that is a great deal. So I am set for bags for quite a while. I still have some from last year when I bought the actual Food Saver brand from Costco, but it came with a lot that I couldn't use. Now I can. So, but I've got a lot still to do. I got to make supper. So today I mentioned I thought I was going to preserve apples. Our weather didn't cooperate today. Until around noon, we had a doozy of thunderstorms here. Like it poured, it shook our windows. It was something else. We're under another thunderstorm warning right now, and then the heat shot up to over 90 something. It is very muggy and humid out. I can feel it's going to rain. It's moist out. You can feel it. So the apples waited, and we thought we might as well get Costco done because it is a long weekend here in Ontario, and we're trying to finish our deck this weekend, our back deck, so we can get our hot tub back up. And apparently everybody had the same idea as we did because Costco was insane, but we survived it and we got through. So anyway, I forgot where I was going with that. So basically I said all that because I still have a lot to do tonight, and so I'm going to use the pre-cut bags. I love the pre-cut bags. When I have time, I do just take time and make a bunch of bags. I always save at least one of these so I can make them all the same size as this because that seems to be a pretty popular size. Basically, I'm just going to julienne these. David and I are the only one who really like bell peppers, and I love them. Like, I love them. They're one of my favorite vegetables. I love them. I'm actually thinking about canning some this year. We'll see how it goes. I'm debating about saving some of these seeds. I might. Nope. I got some of these from in my gardener. I just remembered I got my seed order yesterday when we arrived home from New York. I had my seed order. So I'm not saving these. I have some. So what I do with the little pieces, the tops, I just cut them into smaller pieces, and I will have a bag of just the tops because I find they're great for loaded nachos. And I just save them in a big bag, and they kind of freeze up loose. Like they'll freeze, and then you can break them up easy, and I can just take like a cup of them out and put them on my loaded nachos. So yeah, so just the tops. Sorry, chickens. I used to give them the tops, but I'm not wasting a single bell pepper. As Jessica says from Three Rivers, she calls these money trees because as expensive as she thinks they are in the States in the winter, you don't want to touch these things here. Last winter, I think the highest we saw one was like $7 or $8 for one. And I didn't have to buy any because I had plenty frozen. So I'm going to make sure I have even more this year. Good size bags, and honestly this is several meals for us each bag. 3, 6, that's like 9 bags, 9 meals. I will unzip this, unseal it, and add more tops to it as I go along this summer. So my last thing I'm going to harvest, we need gloves for. So it's stinging nettle. I'm telling you, you need gloves. So stinging nettle hurts. I purposely am growing some in a pot so it wouldn't overtake, because last year was my first year growing it, and I was told that it will like overtake your garden, so put it in a pot, which I did. Well, I am finding tons of stinging nettle in my raised beds in my garden build. Just tons of it, and I mean tons of it. I don't know if the soil that we bought had it in it, if my little plant is somehow spreading way over there, I don't know. But instead of just throwing all of today's away that I weeded, I saved it. I washed it all up really good because it was really muddy. And because the way I'm going to be preserving it is in oil, we need to make sure it's really dry. So I ran it in through my dehydrator for 20, 30 minutes just to dry it up a bit. While I cut up the peppers. I mean, it's running, might as well use it. You don't have to dehydrate it. You can use it fresh, which is what I'm doing because this isn't dehydrated. It's just dried from the wetness. You can use it fresh, dehydrated, whatever. I figure I might as well use it fresh. I got my dehydrator going with other things, and to save myself some time, I'm just going to do it. So I'm just going to use it rather fresh. I'm just going to put it, I have a pint jar here, and I'm making stinging nettle oil. And this is going to be for a muscle lotion, arthritis lotion for this winter. David has arthritis pretty bad in several places. Most of it is from military service. And I have a very bad back, And I don't like taking things. David doesn't either. And stinging nettle lotion, because if you don't know, if you touch this, not only does it hurt, whatever you touch, if you touch it with your hand, you're going to go numb. And it works. I had a couple of my fingers numb last week for several hours after I mistakenly grabbed some when I was weeding without gloves. So, yeah, and a little goes a long way. So here's this. And because you can use several kinds of oils. You can use sunflower oil, safflower oil, olive oil, jojoba oil if you want. It's a little bit pricey for what I'm going to be using this for. Just about any kind of oil. I'm using grapeseed oil that I got at Costco because it's a lot cheaper than olive oil. I did buy olive oil there today because it was on sale, and it was the organic that was on sale, which I will be needing for other things later on. And I'm going to need grapeseed oil for a lot of things I plan on making later on. But this great big 3 liters was $20, which is a great price because small bottles of grapeseed oil in the grocery store here are, sorry, my battery's running low, is very expensive. So we're just going to pour this over the stinging nettle, and that will be the last thing we are preserving for Every Bit Counts challenge today. And as always, I am marking it because I'm making lots of different oils. Okay. I'm going to put this in a cool, dark place, same place I've been putting all my others, and let it sit for at least 6 weeks. And that wraps up day 4 of Every Bit Counts challenge. We'll see you tomorrow for day 5 and day 6, which you will see on day 6. I hope if you're all participating, I hope your days are going great. And remember, every little bit does count. We'll see you then. God bless.